My name is Jose Vargas, and I am on a mission to help you create breakthroughs in your personal and professional life so that you can grow and lead your life with excellence. Welcome, everyone, to this first episode of the Jose Vargas Show. This is a podcast created for leaders to help leaders strategize and create breakthroughs both in your personal and professional life. I am your host, Jose Vargas, and in this first episode, what I want to do is I want to kind of give you a little bit about who I am, right? Who I am, a little bit of my story, and also I want to give you what we're going to be talking about in this podcast, in this show. It is literally geared to help you as a leader, as a father, as a mother, as a leader in your community, as a leader within your organization. Maybe you're an entrepreneur listening to this. Maybe you are a leader of a division in your job or in your company. This is for you. I want to help you. I want to give you the tools to equip you so that you can grow. You know, there's a myth out there that says that leaders don't get stuck. Well, I want to break that myth, and I want to say that leaders do get stuck. But here's what leaders do, right? Leaders don't throw up their hands and quit. Leaders find a way to get unstuck and to continue to rise so that they continue to lead themselves and lead others towards their objectives. And so that is what this podcast is. I want to help you get unstuck. I want to help you rise to that next level. And I want to give you what I call the lead through method. So this podcast is for you, created with that in mind, to helping you get unstuck. And so I want to just share a little bit about myself, but before that, I want to share with you a little story. It was one evening in the late 1980s on the west side of Chicago. A young woman was getting ready to do one of the bravest things she's ever done. You see, this young woman was nervously taking the final steps to escape a terrible situation, a situation that no woman should ever be in. She kept checking to make sure that her husband wasn't coming as she prepared dinner, knowing it was going to be the last time she ever cooked for him. With tears in her eyes, she placed the food on the table. She left a few dollars that she had. She didn't have much, but she left it on the table, and she began to hand each of her young children through the kitchen window to a family member who hurried them through the alley to a car waiting nearby. See, finally, this young woman lifted herself through the window, following her children to the car with the goal of building a better life for herself and her children. That woman was my mom, Evelyn. See, I was the youngest of 4 kids, not even a year old when we left Chicago. And I found this story, I heard this story first from the person who helped my mom escape this horrible situation a few years ago when I was about 13. Actually, she and her husband took me to the actual apartment to see this firsthand. I was 13, and it was a powerful story. And I asked my mom about it, and she confirmed it. But that was the first time I heard about it. See, we ended up moving closer to my grandparents in New Jersey. I grew up in Section 8 housing in a neighborhood where gunshots and drug deals were the norm. It was so bad that I remember my mom telling my siblings and I lay on the floor because she was afraid a bullet from a nearby street fight will come through the window and hit one of us. So I should have been a statistic. A minority raised in a tough city, father not in the picture. Both of my older brothers were caught up in the gang scene when they were very young. And I was raised by a mother who didn't speak any English. And the reason I'm sharing some of my story is because you too may have experienced your own challenging moments and your own setbacks in life. And a lot of things have happened along my journey since, right? Since I was young, I experienced disappointments, victories, frustrations, confusions, maybe like you have as well. I've continued to dream, to grow, and to work even harder to live the life that I am called to. And I want to ask you this question as we get started on this journey together. Have you ever had a dream that just gnaws at your heart? You keep trying to push it to the side, but it just continues to resurface with a desire that only seems to grow. See, after nearly a decade of trying and 2 denials. And I'm just making a long story short here. I found myself with tears in my eyes saying goodbye to my wife as I boarded a plane to a training center in the middle of a desert to fulfill a lifelong dream of becoming a United States Secret Service officer. After completing my training, taking the oath of office, I had the privilege of protecting the 45th President and Vice President of the United States, traveling nationally and internationally to serve my country in this unique way. And so now I am on a mission to help leaders just like you who may find themselves facing obstacles like I did, or who may feel stuck in life. I want to help you strategize. I want to give you the tools to create breakthroughs, both in your personal and professional life, because I do believe that everything is intertwined together so that you can start leading your life again with excellence. So over the next few moments that in this first episode here, I'm going to be sharing with you the method that has allowed me to live the life of my dreams. And after reflecting over the life of the clients that I've been able to help, I created what I call the lead through method. So what is the lead through method? The lead through method is a step-by-step process that I have used in my own life. Every time I find myself stuck, every time I'm leading an organization or a division of an organization, every time I'm writing a book, every time I'm starting a project, every time I feel like I'm stuck, I use this method. And not only do I use this method for me, but I use it for the people that I coach, for the people that I help lead their lives, basically. So this method has not only helped me go from Section 8 housing literally to the White House, but it has helped people that I have coached find their dream jobs. It has helped people find clarity to what steps to take next in their own lives. It has helped a family move across a country for a better opportunity. It has helped people get out of debt. It has helped strengthen relationships and people's faith. So what is this lead through method? Well, I want to give you just a few of the steps. There's 7 steps. And in this episode, I'm going to focus on a few. The first step that I call located. So if you find yourself listening to this show right now and you might be stuck in your leadership, or you might be stuck with a decision, I want you to just locate it first. And this is the first step to leading your life through a breakthrough, right? And that's why I call it the lead through method, because it is a combination of leadership and breakthrough. And so the first step is to locate it. Now, let me give you a little story. After finishing high school, I had a lot of goals, right? Well, I had a few goals, really. I wanted to accomplish, and I wanted to be a speaker. I wanted to be a communicator. I wanted to write great books. I wanted to run my own business. I wanted to become a police officer. I know that's a lot. So I proceeded to do just that. And so I was able to write my first book at 17. Shortly after high school, I took the police test from the city that I grew up in. I was already in small leadership roles. But I took the police test after high school and I passed the test. Unfortunately, I didn't make it high enough on the list. So I waited, took it again, and this time I was on the list. I had a start date for the academy. I couldn't believe it. I was excited. I was ready to go. And I remember the first day of the academy, I was there. I was living my dream. I mean, if you ever walked into your dream, you know what I'm talking about. I was doing the sit-ups. I was doing the jumping jacks. I was getting yelled at in the middle of a push-up. The captain come to me and said, "Recruit Vargas, come with me. Unfortunately, we won't be able to allow you to continue because the doctor would not clear you. They found Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome in your heart." Now, for those of you who are listening who are not, doctor, like I'm not a doctor, but what they said is that basically your heart is broken down into 4 chambers. And there is an electrical component that sends electricity to the top of your heart. And I had an extra vein that pumped too much electricity, and they were afraid that I would pass out. So I couldn't continue until I got that fixed. And I went home that day. I was devastated. I was deflated. And I was discouraged. And for those of you who ever had a dream snatched from under you, you can imagine how I felt. And I'm not trying to be, having a little pity party, but I'm just trying to give you the emotion of what I felt. I cried myself to sleep that night, not understanding how could this happen to me. Now, if you ever try to reach for something greater in life, whether that is personally or in business, you will go through moments of devastation and discouragement. If you haven't already, right? Some of you know what I'm talking about, but I want to warn you that if you desire to get a breakthrough and reach your goals, you have to shift your perspective. If you don't want to just go through life wondering, you have to shift your perspective. If you want to lead your life, you have to change and shift your perspective. See, well-meaning friends said to me, maybe it wasn't meant for you, or maybe you should just move on. And maybe they were right. But here's the truth. What matters isn't so much their perspective. It was mine, and it's yours. You may not always be able to change your current situation, but you can change your perception of it. Someone said that perspective is the way individuals see the world. And it comes from their personal point of view. It is shaped by life experiences, by values, by their current state of mind, by the assumption they bring into a situation, and a whole lot of other things. So changing the way you view your situation is critical in you getting your breakthrough, in you leading your life and not becoming a victim of your life circumstance, but actually becoming a leader of your life. So anytime that I find myself stuck or I'm working with a client, I always start by asking them one question. And this one question helps them, and it will help you locate where you are. And the question is simply this: where are you? It is probably the most ancient question that you will ever find. Where are you? It is the question that God asked Adam in the beginning. Where are you? And if you're not a person of faith, that's okay. But I'm a person of faith, and that's the first time I see this question being asked. God asked Adam and Eve, where are you? And he was hiding because he knew he disobeyed. And so the question for you is, where are you today? Articulating your current situation as it is today. Not as you hope it would be, not as it was one day, but as it is today. Why? Because answering this question is critical. It is critical. It forces you to confront your situation. It forces you to give you a personal awareness, and what we call in law enforcement, situational awareness of where you are. So where are you? You can't get to where you're going until you become aware of where you are. And so here's what I want you to do if you're listening to this. If you're driving, obviously, maybe pause it and come back to it later. Or if you're working out, come back to it later. But what I want you to do, I want you to write down the answer to that first question. And I've noticed that the easiest way to answer that question is to start with the obvious. Where are you currently geographically? In other words, where's your current location? If you are in New Jersey, right? I am in New Jersey. Where are you? I am in my house. I am in my bedroom. Where are you? You see, where are you is a question that you must answer not only geographically, but I want you to ask this: where are you financially? Where are you emotionally? Where are you relationally? Where are you physically? Where are you in your health? And I want you to notice how when you begin to confront this area of your life, I want you to become aware of what's causing, or what feelings begin to be stirred inside of you. Awareness is one of the first keys to breakthrough. If we were working together, we would go through all of those areas in your life to get your breakthrough so that you can lead your life again in all the areas of your life. So I want you right now to look at your life and the area that you need a breakthrough in. And I want you to answer that question. Where are you? Where are you? Now, whether you need a breakthrough in your personal life, in your health, in your relationships, in your finances, this method works for you. Whether you feel that you have had no success, or maybe if you're listening to this and you're having huge success, but yet you find yourself stuck or things began to slow down or maybe plateau, and you desire to take it to that new level, this works for you too. Now, when I do groceries, there's usually multiple bags, and I refuse to ask for help. I don't know if that's a man thing, but I refuse to ask for help. And more importantly, I refuse to come back downstairs to my car to get more. So I'd rather do one trip. Now, many of you probably can relate. Now, I struggle at times depending on how heavy the bags are. And every time I crack myself up. Now, sometimes we do the same thing when it comes to life and leadership. We try to figure things out on our own. And if you work with a coach, your results of getting a breakthrough increases, and you learn faster, the lessons that you need to learn in order for you to get your breakthrough. Now, the point of that is, this is what I'm doing for you right now. I am coaching you so that you can get the breakthrough that you need. Now, and I want to close this first podcast very shortly, but I want to say this. If you're driving a vehicle and you suddenly find yourself lost, or if you take the wrong turn, or if all of a sudden you lose connection, or something happens, maybe the road, there's a detour and you didn't anticipate that, all of a sudden you open up your phone's map and it prompts you in the setting to allow the geo tracker to be turned on so that it can track your current location. And the reason it has to ask you for your current location is because before it can direct you to your destination, it has to know your current location. So when I tell you to answer this question, it is so that you can truthfully and hopefully shift your perspective so that you can see in your own life where you are. Because once you identify where you are, I'm telling you, you're going to be able to build a plan, and you're going to follow these other steps so that it can get you to your destination. Now, I want to say this. There's 6 more steps. There's dissecting it, there's dreaming it, there's foreseeing it, there's planning it, there's overcoming it, and there's making it. And I'm going to give you all these steps. I want to help you get your breakthrough. There's a lot of challenges that we go through in life, especially when we're leading ourselves and when we're leading other people, whether that is our family or whether that is an organization or a team or whatever the case may be. But I'm here to let you know that you don't have to remain stuck, that you don't have to put up a front and pretend, but you can take actionable, practical steps to get breakthroughs and not accept your life, but lead your life towards excellence and towards impact. Because isn't that what you and I want? We want to have impact in this world. We want to impact the people in our lives. We want to impact the people that we're leading. We want to impact the organizations that we're overseeing. And so I want to help you get that impact. Thank you for joining me today. If you are interested in getting unstuck and start leading your life, I want you to hit the subscribe button. I want you to share this with at least 3 people. And I want you to leave me a review wherever you listen to podcasts. It is going to help us move up the charts, and it is going to help us spread the word so that we can continue to help leaders strategize to create breakthroughs both in their personal and professional life so that they can start leading their lives with excellence to create the impact they desire. I'll talk to you next time where we'll be talking about another step through the Lead Through method. I'll see you soon.